The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of February 25th, 2019. I'm Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Hi, I love you.
Hi, CJ.
Hi.
And Randy's here. What up?
What's going on?
So, CJ has mentioned Randy before on Might Be Brews.
Yes.
And you were telling some stories about going out and getting a bunch of beers, city hopping, getting beers.
Randy's my beer guy.
Your beer guy.
Yes.
That's awesome. He's here tonight, talk some sports with us. We are also expecting a blockbuster guest to call in on the show.
Big time athlete.
Should I say anything about it? I probably should have asked you before we started recording, but it's too late for that now.
Right.
You say it if it's supposed to happen.
We got a big athlete on the show today. We got Jeff Varner.
Wow.
Former Survivor contestant, as we've discussed.
3-time Survivor contestant.
3-time Survivor contestant. Started out on, Survivor, the Outback, the big time second season. I think, looking back on it, I think the second season was like the big one that hit. We'll ask him about that, but I'm pretty sure the first one was kind of like, the testing ground.
Yeah.
Those kind of shows, it's always like the second season that hits big. I think he was on that one, and then a few seasons after, he's a big name in the Survivor world. He's an athlete because, as we've described, or as I've described the show, the sport, if you will. It's my fourth favorite sport, my fourth favorite North American sport. It's a sport. It's got all the aspects of sports. If we consider these weird things like, you go with the Olympics, like curling and all these.
They just added breakdancing.
Yeah, so all the sports that get judged.
Yeah.
And here's a sport, Survivor, where you have to compete. And you have to, outwit, outplay, outlast, all these characteristics that make you a great human being. Could there be a better sport?
They do these things that are really challenging physically. They're called physical challenges. And they're awesome.
Presidential fitness
I'm pretty
challenge.
sure that was on Double Dare, the physical challenge.
That's not in Survivor?
You might be confusing Double Dare with Survivor.
Yeah. It was Double Dare.
I'm not going to.
You're right. It was
All right.
Double Dare. It was there.
I'm not saying Double Dare is not a sport.
That is
saying Double Dare is not a sport.
It's kind of sporty.
But you're confusing the two. That being said, there are many physical challenges in Survivor.
Yes.
And, Jeff's going to give us some insight on, there's so many things I want to know about the show.
Right.
And I'm sure you can Google it and find these things out, but I want to hear it from a person that was there. I want to know. I watched so much Survivor. I'm not like a huge weird. I mean, I'm weird, but I'm not a crazy geek over this show. Like I don't obsess over all the contestants and like join like a Survivor fantasy league and all these things. But I love the show and I want to know more about what happens behind the scenes.
All right, Kevin. So how does this rank? So you have the U.S. Survivor, and then I've seen the international spinoffs. Is it like the NFL and then the European Football League and the Canadian Football League?
There's only one Survivor.
They don't call it Survivor wherever else they do it?
Well, I mean, it's like American Idol when they had like all the spin-off things with different countries.
Americans Got Talent, British
actually
Got Talent, Asians Got Talent. Because
they can't do that with Survivor, because Survivor doesn't specifically take place in America. It like never has, right? Like it's all over the world.
Well, it would be interesting to have like a Survivor in America for like another country, like China's Survivor. They come over here and like it could be like a real world,
or like if they did like Alaska
challenge
or something. Somewhere in Alaska would be wild.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
I don't know if you're gonna do much for the ratings.
I'm gonna pitch that to Jeff Probst.
I knew you'd say that.
Did I fuck it up?
Yeah, you have no idea that you screwed that up right now.
Really?
Yeah, you did.
Jeff Probst.
Perfect.
Probst.
You're going to say it wrong in like 5 minutes. It's a hard name to say right.
For real, said it wrong.
I can't do it right.
Fuck.
I can do my best.
Jeff.
Probst. I think I did it okay.
Jeff Probst.
He's the best host in
he's
in
great.
television.
He's great. And the fact that he's been there the whole time is pretty awesome as well.
I forget how it works. I think he was supposed to do the I should know this. It's the one I don't watch. What's the one where they go around like the world and the different places?
Is this guy from
Amazing
New York?
Race?
Yeah, The Amazing Race. Yes.
We have a survivor calling us. We'll be right back. All right, with us on the Might Be Sports line, 3-time Survivor contestant Jeff Varner. Jeff, thank you so much for being on with us.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. This is incredible because we've talked about Survivor not quite a bit on this show. It's a sports show. Kevin, why don't you tell them what you say?
Yeah, so how this all came along is because I'm a huge Survivor fan, and I've always said, I write sports books. I try to be a fan of hockey as much as I can, but it's just not as good as Survivor. It just really isn't. So I always say Survivor is the fourth great American sport. Like it really is a sport. I mean, can you talk about that? Like all the aspects of sport are right there in Survivor, and why it's considered this weird like reality show with like the Kardashians just makes no sense to me.
Oh my God! Did you just put Survivor and Kardashians?
That's what I'm saying. But in some people's minds, that's what it is. They think they think it's a resort. Can you enlighten people on what it's really like out there?
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely not a resort. That's for sure. It's not a resort. This is legit stuff. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult. In sports, at least you get to eat before you play, right?
Right.
It's a whole different thing when you haven't eaten or slept really well at all for several days. And then they come hand you this cute little note written in a riddle that tells you you're about to run 5 miles up a mountain carrying a log.
That's crazy.
Very difficult. It's extremely difficult. And then you got the whole people aspect of it. You can't trust anybody around. Everybody's smiling to your face, but they want to cut your nuts off. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable experience for sure. All the way around. 360-degree discomfort.
So what's it like day one? Like nobody wants to be the first one voted off. Is it a totally different game day one than it is the rest of the game?
Oh yeah. Day one, you got to think about it from the perspective of a day one. Like it's day one that you begin the game, but you've been on phone calls and interviewing and flying back and forth to finals and trying to text people to find out who else got the call. And it's a couple of months of it kind of takes over your life before you go. So when you get there, you've already been at this a couple of months, and then they make you stay in like a lockdown situation for about 5 to 6 days before the game starts. You're not allowed to leave a certain area. You're all together. You can't speak to each other. It becomes a body language experience. And so when you start day one of the game that you see on TV, we've just finished all of that. And it's not really, it's like you can talk for the first time, and you're just trying to figure things out quickly, and everybody's on their best behavior. And several days into it starts to ease up, and then a week into it, 13 I found day 13 is the day when the shit hits the fan. Oh, sorry, I don't know who's your audience.
You can curse.
Totally okay.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, good, because
No
I
problem.
gotta have that mouth. You have to keep track of me.
No problem.
But day 13 is the day when the real stuff comes out. And you're past it's hard to adjust your body to the food situation, to the sleep situation. You're running on adrenaline the first few days, but then you ease into it. Day 13, it becomes old hat, and people start becoming themselves, I think, a little bit more. That's my experience anyway.
Now, you've been, as we mentioned before, a 3-time contestant. You were on the Australian Outback, Cambodia, and Game Changers. Out of the 3 of those, which one would you say was the most brutal, like on yourself, on your body, like physically?
Physically?
Like whether it was like the weather that made it so bad,
no.
or like
they've all so different, and they've all affected me in different ways.
Where did Game Changers take place?
That was in Fiji.
Okay.
The first one was in Australia. It was 106 degrees, very dry heat every day. We had a tarp over our head, so it rained, but we were okay. Cambodia was, I would say Cambodia. I was only in the game 11 days, but in those 11 days, it was very harsh condition there.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
No, I have not.
So it's impossibly hot. It's as high as humidity can go. You're at 100 degrees as well. I've never been on a beach that didn't have a breeze, and you just can't breathe. It's just a difficult place.
I've been to Vegas, and I've heard Vegas described as Cambodia. So I mean, no. That's just
Jesus.
I've just not done much traveling. So Vegas is the only thing I could describe as
anybody who's ever been to
Southeast.
Anybody who's ever been to Southeast Asia will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
You step off the plane and you can't breathe.
Wow.
It takes a while for your body to get used to that.
All right. So have you watched the first episode of this season?
I did. In and out. I didn't watch the whole thing start to finish, but I popped in and out of it.
So what do you think's going on with this whole, I guess they're doing some sort of Redemption Island deal with this Edge of Extinction. What's your take on that?
I think that I really don't have a take. It seems on the surface of it as if they've created a show that Joe Anglim can win. That's my take. They want him to win so badly they created one for him. This is right up his alley.
Well, I was wondering if they're creating a show as kind of a reaction to, what I was talking about, like the perception that the show might be easy. And like even that the name of this season, Edge of Extinction, it seems like they're going like hardcore. And I wonder how if it's going to be like the old Redemption Island didn't have that dark twist to it. I wonder if it's going to push people, physically, emotionally to an edge. Yeah,
I'm sure it will. I'm sure that it will. I'm sure there will be people who just can't deal with that. I don't know that I could deal with it, honestly. Not having a way to eat, you don't. I don't know that much about this island thing, so I don't know what's going on with them. Do they get fishing gear? Do they get ways to find food? If you don't, then that's big trouble. Because I've been in Fiji and there's nothing there.
Right, and it's so early. And the last thing I remember watching at the end of the episode was she's so excited, this character Reem, to go to this island to have a second chance, and all I keep thinking is, oh, be careful what you wish for. This might not be what you want. Like, you might get back in the game, but this also might just push you to the edge. So
I'm sure there will be people who can't cope. But I don't know. I mean, I like Joe, so I hope he goes all the way to the end. But if he plays like he's always played, he's going to be voted out early. And if he's over there early, he's going to take care of people. So it may not be as bad as I think it might be. But depending on who's on that island, that could be a very painful, difficult situation.
Right. I can't wait to see it. So I have a couple questions I've been dying to know. How does it work when you get voted off the show? Like, is it like a party? Like, is it really, do you go back to a hotel with everybody else and just have a good time? Everything's paid for. How does it work?
Everything's paid for. You go, it's, they call it, Ponderosa. People who watch the show know that there's Ponderosa there. They call it Ponderosa. It's a place where when you first arrive, they keep you there. You sleep in a tent and you're not allowed to talk to anybody. And you just do things every day. It's got stuff scheduled, from press interviews to meeting with doctors and psych people and learning how to build a fire and weave a palm frond and learning about the animals and the insects. It's a 6-day process before you actually start. You go back to that place. When you get voted out, I'll walk you through the whole walk.
Perfect.
And I've never made a jury, so I'm sure the jury situation is a very different thing, but not much. I think it's all similar. You walk out, he snuffs your torch, you walk out, you go to the end of that little path, and there's somebody there that's pointing you to a tent. And you go inside the tent, and you sit there pre-jury. After the jury, I think there's a doctor in there, and he weighs you and all that stuff. But before jury, you're literally by yourself. And you sit there and wait for them to load the contestants out. Then you come back to the set and you sit down and you do your final words. Then you go get on a boat with the psychologist is waiting for you and a casting associate. And they give you a basket full of food. There's chips
Wow.
and candy, and you get Cokes, and they take you on a boat ride back to Ponderosa, which can be about an hour ride. It just depends on where it is. But when you get back to Ponderosa, everybody who's been voted out before is standing there waiting to see who you are. They see the boat coming
Yeah, that
up.
makes
It's
sense.
like, who is it? Who is it? And then you get off the boat, and half the people are like, yes, I'm glad you got your ass voted out. And the other half are screaming, no way, no. And they hand you a beer, and then you sit down, and everybody just asks you questions, and you catch everybody up on the game, and you sit and drink, and you finally eat a good meal, and it's good camaraderie. Different people. When I got voted out, the first time it was a party. The second time I was injured, so it was not so much. The third time was a nightmare.
Yeah, I would imagine.
You know, there was a lot that went down the third time that when I got there, I just had a lot to say and a lot to share with people and a lot to learn from them. And it was a deep thing. So when I got to a certain point, it's like, I love y'all, but I'm out. And you take your first shower, and after your shower, you go back to it's like a big restaurant there in the middle of this resort place you stay, and that's where everybody hangs out.
That's wild.
And
So,
they give you whatever
Yeah.
you want to drink, whatever you want to eat. It's as much of it you want. It's all there. You lose a bunch of weight in the game. When you get to Ponderosa, you put it all right back on real quick.
you really did have the full experience. So all you need to do, you need to do one more and win the whole damn thing.
Yeah. And so if you get voted out early and you're there for a while, before the jury takes shape, they take you away on little excursions. You know, you might go snorkeling one day or shopping in the town or something one day. And then right before the jury forms, they grab all the people who are pre-jury and they send you on a vacation. And they take you away for 3 weeks. You're not allowed to go home. And we went to Vietnam, and it was fabulous. We just city hopped in Vietnam, and they paid for everything, and it was awesome.
That's so crazy. That sounds like
It's
such a
almost
cool
worth it.
experience. Yeah.
It's worth it to get voted out before the jury, as far as I'm
It
concerned.
really does sound like it. The guy who wins gets screwed. All right, so I got one more question. One thing I've been dying to know, because you know I watch every week, and like, what percentage of votes, or how often would you say the vote really is pretty cut and dry, but the producers are kind of cutting it the way, because every single episode it seems like it could go either way. But
they cut it. They cut it. You know, it's edited to the end of its life. The order that you get up to vote is not, they take people out of order and stuff in the editing, and it's different. It's a different situation when you watch it than when you live it. They don't know what they're going to use. They know what they're looking for. They know when you walk into Tribal, producers Jeff Probst, everybody knows everything going on, who's trying to screw who's cheating on whom. They know who's going to vote for whom. Like he knows it all, and he's just asking the questions to create a dramatic TV show. If he knows you're holding a secret, and he does, he'll call you out on it. He'll ask other people questions to make them question your secret. Like he creates stuff. That Tribals usually go an hour, 2 hours.
Wow.
And he just asks everybody questions. You never know what's actually going to make the show. But he'll yell at you. If he doesn't like what you're saying, he'll cuss you. Like he gets nasty sometimes. You never see that on the show. But he'll get you emotioned up. And then
gentle Probst.
I was going to say,
for fuck's sake.
That was going to be my
gentle.
That was going to be my next question. It is about Jeff, the host, and like how it is working with him, because we were talking about it. I mean, he's been on the show obviously since the very beginning of it, and he comes across as a true professional. But what is it like actually working with him now that you started to describe it a little bit?
Well, I don't know that you're working with him. You're more like working for him.
Right.
Like you don't work with him. He does all the work with everybody else. You're just a peon contestant, and you never see him except for challenges and tribals, and you have producers on there with you that you deal with mostly. But he's aggressive at times, I think.
He sounds like
very
a trip.
Professional. I will say he's a professional, but you can tell that the staff that he works with, they're intimidated by him. And when he says jump, you go. And when he's angry about something, you can see it in the other people. We're not allowed to talk to each other during periods of times because cameras aren't there to capture it. And they don't want anybody playing the game off the camera. But they have a handler there, and the handler will catch you talking to each other. And I've seen handlers that have emotionally just been a wreck because they can't stop us. You can tell Jeff has said, if they say one word, you're fired. Like, you can tell.
Really?
Wow.
He's in control. He is the boss. He is in control. Nothing happens on those islands without his permission, without his attention.
See,
He's
that's
very
incredible.
much in control, and he has a horrible potty mouth. Like, this guy cusses over nothing. Over nothing. Like, you could be walking
That's
through
great.
and he'll point to a tree and be like, "That's a pretty goddamn fucking cool tree." There was one time that a guy had his ear headset off, and we were walking past him, and he looked at that guy and said, "Put your fucking earman." Like, he yelled at him. That little kid just jumped and threw his ear things on, and
That's great.
He's aggressive. He's very intimidating to a lot of people, not to me, and not to a lot of contestants. And I think I have actually an interesting view of Probst from being on the show 20 years. I was on the second season, and then I was on the 34th. So
Wow.
Jeff Probst in Australia is very different
Totally
than Jeff
different
Probst. Totally different dude. Completely different dude.
That's crazy.
Back in Australia, Jeff was the "yes, sir" guy to Mark Burnett. Like, "Whatever you say, sir. I'm just doing my job." And now he is the Mark Burnett, and
Now it's
he's
his show.
in charge.
Wow. See, that's incredible. And that's the behind the scenes stuff that we could only get from talking to you. Because you watch the show and obviously it's so tight, it's so time constraint. I mean, there's so much to it. And, talking about a tribal council being 2 hours long, where it feels like it's 2 hours long watching it on TV, but it's mostly because there's a commercial break in between it. But it's just like this, it's still overall just like a 5-minute part of the show.
Yeah, 10 minutes, but it goes on forever. They have a lot to work with, and it's such a production. Like, it's so weird. You can when you first show up to go to tribal, they put you in a tent. You're not allowed to talk. There are handlers in there watching your every move.
It's
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that.
Handlers, that's okay. You can't talk to anybody. You can't do anything. So they come in and they put microphones on you. They come in and you see the doctor. There's like a process. So when it's finally time to go to set to do tribal, you walk. You get your torches. You stand there. And you can just tell there's a lot of everybody running around, checking this, checking that. And then when they say time to go, you walk in and it's just Jeff standing there, and it's empty and it's quiet. And you know that 5 minutes, just 5 seconds before that, it was a busy little thing. There are hundreds of people shoved in corners, all wearing black, shooting you from behind rocks and places. You can see them, but they don't talk to you.
So crazy.
And
I
then
gotta ask this. I've always wondered, because it does seem sometimes like when they pull you aside for like a confessional or an interview, whatever it's called, do they ask you, like, okay, we know you're going to vote this way, but is there a chance you could vote another way? And what would you say about that? And that's the part that they show. It always seems like they show somebody saying, well, I could vote for this person. I'm still thinking about it. But then it always goes the other way. You know what I mean? Like, they ask, like, oh, okay, we know you're voting for Steve, but could you talk about a scenario where you might vote for Mike?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do that. And they lead with their questions a lot. Like, a lot of the contestants, especially the people who've been back several times, have kind of figured out the system. You can guess where storylines are going based on who they're asking you about and what questions they're asking and the way they ask it and what they want you to talk about. And you can tell they have a plan for their storyline with some of the way they ask the questions. A lot of their questions are very leading. They put some words out there, and they're hoping, in my opinion, that you repeat the words they say because they know it'll make good TV.
Very interesting. I like that.
Wow.
Like, for example, there's one moment coming to mind in not Game Changers. In Second Chance Cambodia, I did an interview on episode 2 where Spencer and Shireen had just done a puzzle together and lost. And it just happened that Spencer and Shireen were the two people everybody was wanting to vote for. And they were looking at me to sort of tie all that together, and I wasn't.
Oh, really?
And they just were like, well, what about their survivor lives in their hands at the last moment? And and you're like, yeah, that is really interesting. They did have their lives in their hands and they didn't even know it. And then he'll look at me and be like, he's the producer looked at me and said, "Pretty poetic, isn't it?" And I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, how poetic." So they put the interview together of me and the show, and it's like, oh, they got their lives in their hands. How poetic.
Crazy. How poetic.
That's
And
so
it's like,
cool.
wow, I look like I really know what I'm supposed to be saying, but basically they just put all that in my mouth.
That's awesome.
They're producers. They're putting together a show. That's it.
Right.
The show is more important than the game to them, in my opinion. Survivor 34. Survivor 2, it was vastly different. And 2, they just followed you around, and whatever you wanted to do, you did. And they caught it, and they made a show out of it, and it was art. And they won Emmys and did some really cool stuff. Now it's like drive-through Survivor. They got it down pat so much that it's just, they know what the story's going to be. They know where they think it's going to go. And they kind of, I don't want to say they lead you that way, but they lead you that way.
Do you think that they have that all figured out before it starts? Like just from pre-interviews and just getting to know the cast and stuff? Wow.
Yes, absolutely. They have their storyline. I think they have every episode written out on, what's going to happen in each episode. Because when you pitch a reality show, you have to pitch them a full season. Like every episode, you have to do a synopsis on what happens in each episode. So they know how we're going to act and react. And they make the show's created on the fly.
Yeah.
Sure. It's not scripted in any way, but they know kind of where they want to go and what they want that show to be. They know the themes they want to have come out based on the people they've brought in,
Yeah. I mean, learning about broadcasting and stuff, one of the first things that you do is obviously figure out where you want to go, start to finish, storyboards and all that stuff. And like, as you're talking, like, I'm just imagining them like getting to know specific people and being like, wow, I think this person can make it far as long as so-and-so doesn't, vote them off or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And how interesting would it be if so-and-so did that? So let's make sure this person, if they want to, they can.
I mean, and they
can
just
do everything.
They can just kind of steer it in that direction, not necessarily like push it, but just kind of guide it there, a little bit. That's really intense.
I'm going to go so far as to say, in my opinion, there have been producers that actually pushed it.
Wow.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
This is going to totally change the way I see this.
I was going to ask you that. Like, is this going to change the way that you watch?
I mean,
oh yeah. You don't watch it the same way once you play it.
It's
crazy. Very different.
And that's what.
If producers screw you for any reason, you really don't watch it the same way because you don't trust anything. You know what they're up to. Like, there are people that get really screwed sometimes, in my opinion.
That's so crazy.
But for me, if it's a heavily produced fast food version of Survivor, I still eat McDonald's and love it. I still love Taco Bell. I'm still going to watch Survivor. I'm still going to love it. So it's fun.
Sure.
Right. People are still going to watch.
We'd be remiss if we didn't ask, an actual sports question. I saw you on Twitter. You were pretty excited about that UNC Duke game.
Yes. I graduated from Carolina.
Okay.
I was actually captain of the cheer team at Carolina. So I was on the court with them.
Oh, fantastic.
So Carolina basketball, football for us sucked. We were 0-10 both seasons that I was on the team. I don't even know why they have a football team in Carolina, to be honest with you. But, that was an amazing program to be on the court with and to travel with and be there. I was there. I'm old. So I was there during Jeff Lebo and J.R. Reed.
Wow.
Hubert Davis, those guys. I remember Christian Leitner playing for Duke. He was on the other team. Yeah, that was back in the day.
Now, unfortunately, we're from Philly, so, we had kind of a pretty big moment with Villanova against UNC a few years ago. That was one hell of a game. So what was your experience? I'm sorry to bring up, harsh, games, but for us, that win was maybe the greatest college basketball game of all time.
Okay, you got to remind me.
Well, it was, what was it, 2 years ago? The finals.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the finals.
Last second shot.
Yeah, came down.
You remember this.
Oh,
Michael
God,
Jordan in the stands.
I might have been drunk. I don't remember.
It's all right. I can relate.
I do remember. I
remember,
but Carolina does so well every year, and it comes down to nail biters. You just they all kind of run together after a while.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Are you excited for March Madness? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really following it that much this year. I'm so disconnected. I'll catch a Carolina game every now and then, and I always make time to watch Carolina Duke because that's it. That's the game right there. And this was such a good one. And everybody talking about how that guy got hurt, Zion got hurt, and it's just not fair. It's not equal. That pisses me off. I don't know if it's because of my hatred for Duke, but
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I mean, Duke beat Syracuse without Zion, and they lost to Syracuse with him.
And he's going to be okay.
Yeah, and if you lose one player, and you get blown away by 20 points, then that means your team sucks.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no,
so I don't like these people saying Carolina only won because a guy got hurt.
Yeah,
that's not it.
Yeah, I don't buy that. It was a good game. It was a good game.
Yeah, I love it. There's nothing sweeter to me than a Duke loss, and I will be so nasty about it too. I can't help it.
Oh, we love that. I
can't help it. I hate Duke so much.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show with us. We really appreciate it. We wanted some behind the scenes stuff, We wanted to, and you totally lived up to that. So we really appreciate you taking some time, being on Might Be Sports with Kevin and I, and we'd love to have you on again sometime. That was great.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I don't listen to podcasts that much. I need to get more into it, but I'm sure you guys are great. And Scott Pollard raves about you, so.
Great.
Scott's the man. We love Scott.
That's great.
He's awesome. He's been like my main supporter, one of them through the whole mess.
Right. I mean,
I'm very grateful
Scott,
for him.
Who couldn't love Scott Pollard?
He's the don't do drugs, or kids do drugs.
Exactly. Yeah, he's
when I first saw him on Survivor, I was like, that's the guy that told all those children to go do drugs.
Exactly.
Well, Jeff Varner, thank you so much for being on with us, man. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
Yeah. Well, that was Jeff Varner, 3-time Survivor contestant, live on the Might Be Sports podcast. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some other sports stuff. I don't really have much. I just want to know where fuck Bryce Harper.
Like keeping up with the Kardashians. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on, there was a big Bachelor vote off thing. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves after the break.
Teasers. Hey, it's Taylor Cooper,
co-host Kev.
And I'm co-host Dan. I have to bring something up that's been bugging the shit out of me about your wedding.
What?
You've known me a long time.
Yeah.
All right?
You've known both of us a long time.
You've known Kev a long time.
Fucking radio show together.
Yeah.
We are your brothers.
Correct.
Why the fuck was I in the corner?
Yo,
dude, both of us.
We were the furthest away from the bar. We were the furthest away from the food. It was like, I'm just going to put you guys in the corner because I don't want to see you.
Check out Might Be News on mbnnetwork.com. Also, SoundCloud and iTunes. New episodes every Monday. Welcome back to Might Be Sports. What an eventful first half.
Well, way to get us involved in the whole network feud by putting a Might Be News ad in there.
It's Network Beef Week at the Might Be News Network, apparently. Everybody hates each other.
Network beef sounds
Bruce,
delicious.
we didn't pick the ad. Taylor did. So just FYI.
Yeah, I did. I did pick the ad. So fuck everybody. But seriously, we just had a 3-time Survivor.
Would you please not
contestant.
curse? I don't like it when you do that. It's just unnecessary. I don't know why you have to use that language.
I think that where I want to go next, I want to talk about what everybody's talking about.
Survivor. I'm kidding.
And just get it out of the way. Bryce Harper. I'm so sick of this. I want it to be over.
You know how sometimes things seem like they're not they're not going to happen. Like it's not, you picture it in the future and it's like, nope, doesn't make sense, doesn't compute. I've never really been able to picture Bryce Harper in a Phillies uniform. Doesn't make sense. I can't imagine us loving him. He's a weird guy. He's really, really easy to hate. So in that way, I'm kind of okay if the Phillies back away. I don't know. I think right now, you hear all the time on talk radio, people are saying, I mean, specifically on local talk radio, Joe Giglio, a local guy, said, the offseason for the Phillies doesn't make sense if it doesn't end with Bryce Harper. And it doesn't make sense. Because if they don't land Harper, that means they had a shot at Machado and passed.
Right.
Because of Harper. And if they don't land Harper, it's because they wouldn't meet the demands of something along the lines of 10 years, 350. They could have had Machado for something along the lines of 10, anything over 300. You would have to think, because that's what he went to San Diego for.
Let me say something. This whole thing and the stupid money, and we're going to do dumb stuff with stupid money, whatever they said at the beginning of the offseason, this has me so frustrated and just, I'm over it. Like, I don't even know if I want him to play here anymore. Like, I don't even know. Like, if he doesn't want to be in Philly, I don't even want him here. But at the same time, I do, because that's the way that the Phillies are going to win the East this year. It's basically, in my opinion, probably the only way that they're going to win the East this year. And I don't know, man. I'm just so conflicted about it. At this point, like, spring training's starting. I'm getting fired up about baseball, but this is fucking preventing me from getting super fired up about baseball. It makes me annoyed about baseball.
And it's juxtaposed against our center fielder, Odubel Herrera, who I was super excited about coming into camp, working out with Miguel Cabrera. He's going to turn his game around. The biggest knock on him was, effort, being a little too lackadaisical in the field. He comes in looking about like 40 pounds overweight, and he's got like hamstring issues. It's everything that's like a fat kid showing up first day of, football practice. It's like you got to work through those kinks. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, this is Odubel to a T. He's fat right now.
Yeah.
It's fat Odubel. And this is the guy that I've been backing all offseason, saying he's been working his ass off. What is it? He's been sitting on his ass eating Cheetos.
Apparently.
I feel betrayed. So
He is supporting your job at Frito-Lay.
yeah, I mean, you got to love the guy for liking Cheetos, by the way.
Shout out Cheetos.
Cheetos.
By the way, hot Cheetos, great product, but I mean, if you're eating them with your hands, you're going to have what I call red finger for a solid week and a half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that
shit does not go away.
It doesn't seem, like the cool thing to do, but do not trust me. Forks and Cheetos, it makes sense.
Wow.
Just spoons, I mean, whatever you got to do, just don't get that stuff on your fingers. That's a pro tip.
That's a pro tip. I'm doing that from now on, especially with the fucking cheese curls, because that's way easier to use.
I mean, there also is no lower point in life than when somebody snaps a photo of you eating Cheetos with a fork.
I'll tell them to go fuck themselves with a clean finger. Clean finger.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Pro tips.
Live your truth, man.
Chopsticks all the way.
So, speaking of chopsticks,
Wait,
Robert
really?
Kraft
Wait.
was...
yeah.
There's
Wait,
the segue.
real quick, just because I said wait and I totally killed that joke, but good point. Nolan Arenado,
Yeah.
6 years.
Yep.
8 years,
8 years.
$260 million. I think like $32.5 million a year. So that might affect the Bryce Harper thing. Also, the Phillies, they were rumored to be in on him next year. Ryan Spader was talking about that on the show last week.
Yeah.
That was last week. Yes. So he's out of the question. So that puts even more onus on the Phillies or any team that might have been thinking about Arenado next year. That makes Bryce Harper more valuable now. This signing could make the Bryce Harper thing go even longer, which is excruciating.
I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of it. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore.
I'm just hoping for a happy ending.
You know-
Segue.
Segue. Speaking of happy endings, Robert Kraft was arrested on. They got him red-handed. Basically,
They have video.
They have video of him.
The cops are saying the video is not going to come out anytime soon, but they have video of him doing a threesome.
At a massage parlor in Jupiter, Florida.
Yes, that he paid $360 for.
Wow.
So, us being committed to the cause as much as we are.
Cause
Taylor,
of what?
finding out the facts.
Oh,
So, Taylor's going to Vegas.
I am.
I am promoting, since prostitution is legal outside city limits, Taylor getting the cost of a threesome in legal, non-human trafficking Las Vegas.
I will ask every female I see there until I find out the answer. I'll see how well that goes. That's how hard I'm willing to dig.
John, you might have to step it up for him.
No, I swear I will do my very best to find out.
Because I'm curious how much he got a price discount. Like when this
sounds like Robert Kraft got a great deal.
Well, when this came out, I was expecting Robert Kraft prostitution, Elliot Spitzer level, $3,000 a night, and he's paying $360 for a threesome.
Yeah, dude. I've only scratched the surface with reading up on this, just because I've been reading up on a bunch of other things, and it sounds so crazy. It sounds like Robert Kraft is only scratching the surface as far as who else was involved in this.
No, they came out with the other names, and it's no one like
earth shattering.
No, it's no one business wise is earth shattering, because it's people that own a whole bunch of businesses that are worth more money than Robert Kraft. But it's no one that's like, earth shattering to like the normal person. It's more
it's
of
not
a
like any celebrities or anything like
it's not like a celebrity
moguls. And
it's not, since it's right near Donald Trump, so it's not like the Donald was there. Or something.
Right.
But so my next question: what are these girls doing that these billionaires are going there and getting these discount prices?
I mean, that, like I said, it sounds like for what he was there to get, he got a pretty decent deal.
Yeah,
and he's a gajillionaire. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it.
But wait,
and he's a recent widow as well, isn't he? Like he
has a 39-year-old girlfriend, and he had a kid with her in 2017.
Oh,
so she has a payday.
Can we chill with why
No
do
doubt.
these things have to be to scale? Okay, so he's a billionaire. So he was supposed to tip the lady $1 million. Like,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's got a gajillion dollars. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I don't see why he even needed to do this.
Well, he should have Elliot Spitzer hookers that come to his room and he pays $3,000 for.
Right.
I just hate. All right, so they're supposed to spend all their time at home and have things come to. Why do they go out to KFC? You're a billionaire. Why are you getting fast food? Like, you could say that about anything.
I don't care about Warren Buffett
go out
and McDonald's.
and
I care about Robert Kraft going to the
You
$80
go out
an
and you
hour
live life.
massage parlor.
Who gets busted
What I'm saying,
getting a rub and tuck?
What I'm saying is that somebody like Robert Kraft, who could just get on a plane and go somewhere like Vegas, where it's legal to do what he was doing, but he could have gotten
Because he's not in Vegas.
a bigger, crazier experience.
He could
out
have
of
taken
it.
his plane to Vegas.
Yeah, he definitely could have taken it there in a split second, and all of a sudden he can go get as many threesomes as he wants. Yeah, it'd be more expensive, but you could do that wherever you want. in
When
Vegas.
you're on the golf course, you see the porta potty out there. You could go to that, or you could just piss on the tree. Like it doesn't matter who you are, where you are. It's convenience. Pretty much, if you're a billionaire, you're used to doing whatever you want. So you do whatever you want, no matter the scale. That was him doing whatever he wanted.
Well, what I'm
Kevin,
saying,
I applaud that analogy because I thought the porter potty was going to be the lesser of the two options, and he went with the tree.
Exactly.
so, but what I'm saying is, okay, is that the situation in the spa that he was going to, that involves human trafficking, that involves so many other things.
Well, it's
that
not
he's
like
not
he was
doing.
like, all right, what's got the heaviest human trafficking? I
get
like
that.
my rub and tugs with a little
I get
dose
that.
of human trafficking.
I
He
get
didn't
that.
know.
But what I'm saying, he had to know. How long has he been doing this?
Do you know these things? I don't know how these things work.
I mean, come on. If you could go somewhere where it's legal and people just adopt that lifestyle and do that as a job because it's legal, they do it as a job.
Do you go to a massage parlor and be like, smells like human trafficking? I'll go to the next one.
He got that far. He got as far as he got. He had to know something was up.
I want to see the
Had to
video.
know something was up.
Why would he have to know something's up? It's
Because
crazy.
he's there.
He showed his ID.
He's there. He had to know something was up. Oh,
If
He
a
didn't-
massage parlor asks for your ID and you're 77 years
had to
old,
know.
something's going on that they need to know who the fuck you are.
I go to places all the time and don't know what's up. I would be that guy to go to a diner, sit down, seat myself in the middle of a robbery, and like say out loud, "Can I get some service, please? Jesus, this place sucks." Like I don't know what's up in places. I went to a Wawa today and pulled on the door, couldn't figure out why it wasn't opening. Like for a good 5 to 6, 7 pulls, and then I see a huge sign, and then I notice all the other huge signs closed, no power, and it's pitch black dark inside. I didn't know what was up,
wow. Listen, all I'm saying is,
and we know I'm the everyman.
all I'm saying is
I'm an author. I wrote books.
that this officially makes Robert Kraft a scumbag.
Yes.
He's a scumbag. And that's my opinion. It's probably a popular opinion.
That's fact.
Back to CJ.
Allegedly.
He's allegedly a scumbag.
No, 100%.
So, all right, next thing on the list, because I want to do some rapid fire. The Los Angeles Lakers. Just so we can cover all the bases.
We're going to
That's a sports joke.
we are going to talk about who got kicked off of The Bachelor last night, right? Eventually.
No.
Time permitting, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
All right.
after the credits and everyone says bye, you can sit here with the mic and talk about the Bachelor.
Moving on.
The Lakers, they're in total disarray. They've been in disarray since this whole Anthony Davis thing was going on around the trade deadline, when basically GM LeBron was more or less offering their entire starting lineup for Anthony Davis. Now that didn't happen, you see a bunch of young players around, obviously the greatest player of our generation, certainly that's playing the game right now, as much as I hate to admit it. And you see them just totally disconnected. They lost to a Grizzly team that's literally tanking the other night. And what do you make of that?
I think the only thing that it could be worse for the Lakers right now is if Lonzo Ball was literally dating a girl named Disarray Kardashian. like he literally in disarray. And that's about nothing. No. That's the best.
I was gonna say,
Literally.
Well, we can wait for
literally.
that sex tape to come out.
Literally
too, but
in disarray.
to see him in disarray.
Literally in disarray.
Wow.
That's about the only thing that could be worse. I don't know.
It'd be worse if
here's the thing.
Disarray worked at a spa somewhere.
See,
And
now
then he
that's
was in disarray.
I don't like how you make light of human trafficking, Taylor. So next week we'll start the show with an apology. For right now, we'll move on.
What do you think about the Lakers? Do you think that we're going to witness a playoffs this year without
No,
LeBron in it?
Because here's the reason why.
Wait, you're saying right now that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs?
No, I'm saying the Lakers will not make the playoffs.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
LeBron is going out right now, and he's throwing his entire team under the bus every damn game.
Yeah.
With these little, he thinks he's gotten to this point where he thinks he's bigger than the game.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And I can't wait till the game turns on him and his skills fade and he realizes, oh, yeah, I'll be forgotten too.
Right.
I'll be another Michael. I'll be another, Magic, Kobe, all these guys. Like, the game's bigger than you, dude. And right now, he thinks he could just throw anyone under the bus, like he did with the Anthony Davis proposed trade. Like, everyone's on the table.
Right.
Oh, shit. I guess not. I still got to play with these guys.
Trying to get the coach out of there.
Then the very next week, throws these guys under the bus for not trying hard enough, then does it again and again and again. Yo, dude, you're one guy. You're
okay.
LeBron James, fine.
He's working on a project, and he might throw Bugs Bunny under the bus next.
Yeah, apparently Space Jam 2 is coming out in 2020. Not excited about it.
And it might be a little too late. Because
I'm telling you, LeBron's a horrible actor. Horrible actor. What's that movie with the one girl in it? Trainwreck. He was horrible in that movie.
No, he was all right.
Ugh.
Never saw
His parts were funny.
You're asking him to play himself.
He's a terrible actor.
He could do that.
Will
He's horrible.
Will R. Kelly do the song?
Space Jam. Oh my god. He's made like I Still Believe I Can Fly. It'd be crazy.
The remix.
Oh my god.
I mean, LeBron James would be on my top 3 of guys to play LeBron James.
Yeah, he'd be probably in my top 5.
I think he could do it.
I think he'd be.
I would go with
number
50
5.
Cent over LeBron James to play LeBron James.
Yeah, I could probably pick a couple of people that I'd rather see.
50 Cent's actually one of those guys. You watch him in interviews, he looks like he's struggling to be himself.
Yeah.
Who's good
Looks like
with power?
He
LeBron
has
James
some
kind of is these
awkward
days
interviews.
too. LeBron James kind of is these days too. Rapid fire time. Lakers are terrible.
But
Lakers are
Sound
terrible.
effects.
Like it looks bad. It's bad.
All
Go
right.
ahead, CJ. Rapid fire. Bing, 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 bing.
So Tom Brady hugs it out with Robert Kraft amid prostitution scandal.
Did they kiss on the mouth afterwards?
Now, that's the whole reason I brought this up, because what does the photo look like?
Yo, they're definitely kissing on the mouth. My man, is that what they're talking about? The moment?
That's the moment they got off the plane and apparently
No.
hugged.
So the photo on TMZ right now, you could probably go on where do you go for these things?
TMZ.
TMZ Sports or whatever.
Yes.
You can look at this photo we're looking at. Clearly, this was cut to be exactly the moment that would look like they're about to kiss on the lips.
But Tom Brady
They're just
kisses a bunch of men. So.
Right.
You've
But the reality is,
You've seen him
they're
kiss
just
men.
hugging, and TMZ's playing up the whole kissing on the lips thing.
Listen, there's nothing
TMZ's
wrong with kissing on men.
But I'm saying it looks like he kissed him on the lips.
There's nothing wrong with men kissing other men. But Tom Brady, it just, to me, I don't know. I don't know how it makes me feel. Makes me feel like Peyton Manning's better. That's how I feel. Not because he kisses dudes on the mouth, but just because Peyton Manning's better.
Well, he does that with his kids too, right?
Hard.
Yes.
Hard.
His father, too.
What do you think? Next.
All right. Ric Flair. Bradley Cooper should play me in Hulk Hogan biopic.
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, should play Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Who's going to be Hulk Hogan?
What's his name?
Hemsworth.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth. Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
interested.
going to be a Netflix thing.
That was a huge Hulk
Who
Hogan
should
guy.
play Ric Flair? Who did they say?
Ric Flair wants Bradley Cooper to play Ric Flair.
That would be interesting. I don't know who else could do it. See, I'm curious, like, obviously, I mean, Thor's pretty jacked up, but, like, I'm curious, like, how jacked up these guys are going to get for this movie, because they, like, all those wrestlers back then were, like, enormous.
Yeah, but I'm not. Ric Flair was never really.
He wasn't, like, Hulk.
Yeah, he wasn't Hulk Hogan,
Right.
Like big, but
No, I'm anxious to see that. The Andre the Giant documentary on HBO is fucking awesome.
Oh,
If
yeah,
you
I
haven't
saw
seen
that,
that,
yes.
watch that shit. Reevy, have you seen that shit?
I have not.
Oh, check it out, dude. It's
yeah,
really good.
definitely.
I was into wrestling back in the day, but I don't know. I don't like to go back and look at those days for some reason. I think I'm just done with it.
The Andre thing was just totally
But
eye-opening.
I would see a
to
Hulk
me.
Hogan thing. I was a big Hulk Hogan guy.
Yeah, me too.
Jake the Snake, Hulk Hogan.
There was a lot of it. There was quite a bit of this Andre the Giant thing. That
Well,
had to
and
do
then
with
that
Hulk.
Jake the Snake movie too.
Yeah, I have
that-
not seen that.
Oh, highly recommend.
yet. Really? Yeah, I heard it was
Yes.
good. I heard it was good.
DDP completely turned his.
A lot of those old school wrestlers have really crazy, interesting stories.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nuts.
it was called Snakes on a Plane. It was about his first trip out. No, it's a funny story because he's like a big time WWF wrestler, deadly afraid of planes. So it was a cool documentary, kind of like, like weird, like new age, but like, snakes on a plane. Like
And
his
Samuel
first-
Jackson played him, right?
Who?
Samuel Jackson.
Was he a wrestler? Never heard of him.
Next.
I don't know.
I
I don't know what Randy's talking about. Does not know about sports, apparently.
Dennis Rodman to Joel Embiid. Shut the fuck up. MJ's the GOAT.
Recently, Embiid said
No,
that Dr. J was the GOAT.
He said Dr. J?
Yeah.
Are you sure he didn't say Wilt?
I'm sorry, he said Wilt.
All right.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
said
knew
Wilt.
he was
Sorry.
talking about Wilt. Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain is. I mean, I think we've talked about this in the show. Maybe Wilt Chamberlain was on like professional volleyball teams, like an amazing athlete. I think he was an accomplished golfer. I think he was a bowler, basketball. He played every sport. He was an amazing, like, you can't, we make these mistakes all the time with history. We're like, yeah, you take LeBron James right now and put him in, 1950, and he's the most amazing athlete in the history of time. He's going to score 100 points every game. Yeah. There was technological achievements and people change over time. You have to account for that. You have to. The thing was, you have to take the person who they were compared with the talent around them.
Right.
And the competition. Wilt Chamberlain was, what LeBron James is to the league now, multiply that by 2, and maybe you approach what Wilt Chamberlain was. That's why there can't ever be anyone better, because he was that much more dominant. No one came close. Some people say Bill Russell. Almost, kind of came close. He had an amazing team, so he won a bunch of championships. Still didn't approach what Wilt Chamberlain did.
So my thing with this is that Wilt is on quite a few people's, top of the top conversations, right? Quite a few people would put Wilt up there. And so for that reason alone, I think Dennis Rodman was out of line saying what he said. At least the way he said it. Not saying what he said, but the way he said it. Next.
All right. WWE legend Tammy Stitch jailed after 6 DWI arrests.
6 of them?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Get a Uber.
How does this even happen? Like, I know guys that have like 2, maybe 3, and it's like their whole world comes to an end. At like 6, I feel like they kill you after 5, right? Like, you definitely get the electric chair after 5. Like, if this escalates, like what I've seen people who've had like 2 and 3, and it's insane. 5 or 6, jeez. Like, how does it continue to happen? And how does age of Uber?
I'm just glad she hasn't killed anybody yet. One more, Craig. We got enough time for one more.
All right, one more. All right, so I'll cut that one out. All right, we'll go. Floyd Mayweather cool with Tiger after a gun incident at birthday party.
Cool with Tiger Woods?
Tyga.
Oh, the rapper Tyga. Gun incident. I didn't hear about this.
So Tyga got taken out of Floyd's birthday party and threatened to get a gun.
Oh.
I think he might have actually had the gun on him. Double check.
Well,
what are you doing with a gun at a kid's birthday party?
Yeah, I don't get it. Sounds stupid. It's a dumb move.
No, he reached for the guard's gun in the holster.
Oh, Tyga's corny.
After he got kicked out of the party.
Wait, this guy reached for a security guard's gun at a kid's birthday party, and Taylor goes, guy's corny as hell.
He is.
That is a cornball move.
It is a cornball move. What are you going to do? Like you said, why are you going to grab a gun at a kid's birthday party? If Floyd Mayweather doesn't want you there, get the fuck out of there.
That kooky Tyga always grabbing guns like the mischievous punk he is.
Silly Tyga.
Silly old Tyga.
It's time for the Goat of the Week. The greatest of all time.
Of the week.
So mine is easy. It's Scott Boras, the agent of Bryce Harper. The man is clearly a genius. He knows that he has a hot commodity, and he's enjoying pissing off all of these fucking fans off. And let me just put something in perspective here. The highest paid Major League Baseball agent in 2017 was Scott Boras, who earned $108.3 million that year in commissions from $1.9 billion worth of player contracts. That's incredible. Well, fuck this guy. Come to Philly. Stop playing around, Scott. Stop playing. He's my Goat of the Week.
Pretty good.
What can I say?
I don't know.
I put a lot of thought into it all week.
All minute. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we touched on it. My Goat of the Week, it's got to be Nolan Arenado. I mean, that's some gangster stuff right there. We got Manny Machado, Bryce Harper just struggling all summer to get the deal they want. Bryce still not signed. Nolan Arenado, no expectation to sign, and just lo and behold, he's like, boom, just made $32.5 million a year for the next 8 years.
Yep.
Fuck you guys waiting for? Like, how poetic is that? That we're waiting on these two guys whose contracts are up, and Nolan Arenado. I mean, let's just talk Manny Machado. Manny Machado waited all summer to sign his deal. Unsigned, unrestricted free agent. Nolan Arenado, his deal's not even up yet, and he signs for more money per year.
Yeah.
It's just weird, and I hate it. Like, baseball, I don't know if there's, like, a rule you can make. And people who, like, debate about baseball and the pitch clock, there's so much to debate right now. They're trying to change the game so much to make it more fan-friendly. People don't think things through all the time. They think there should be, an end date when you can sign free agents. And then it's like, well, that's not fair for the free agent. It gives the team too much. You have to consider all the scenarios. The big thing right now going on, the pitch clock. And people say, well, don't have a pitch clock. Just limit the amount of times you throw over to first base. Well, think these things through before you spout them out. I just heard that yesterday on like First Take or something. You can't limit the amount of times you throw over to first base.
Yeah, because then the
runner's gonna know.
Yeah, they're gonna go halfway to third or second or whatever.
All right, well then just say the runner can't take a big lead. It's like, shut up.
Yeah,
just think things through. So there's gonna be big rule changes in every sport forever. Things change. Just think things through before you make these dumb comments. People just talk endlessly about what they think should happen. They don't think about the consequences. So I just think it's hilarious that as we've got two free agents that just take their time and just kill the offseason, Nolan Arenado is just sitting there saying, I'm good. I'll sign it. $32.5 million, more money per year than maybe Bryce Harper and Manny Machado get. And no one saw it coming.
Yeah. Yeah. They made a smart move.
But it seems easy. Both these guys could have signed at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Oh, it's infuriating. Randy, thank you for being here.
No problem.
I have to come. We got to have you come over for Might Be Bruce. We got to do that. CJ?
Wait, we got to touch on this real quick.
Okay.
Randy is the most knowledgeable beer guy that has nothing to do with the beer industry. Maybe, like, definitely in the state. For sure, in the state. Maybe, like, in the world.
I don't know about that.
This guy is unbelievable with beer.
I just hit my 215th brewery.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We got to get you on.
It's a thing.
It's going to happen.
It's a hobby.
It's going to happen. CJ, wonderful job.
Thank you.
Reevy, fantastic.
Love you.
Dude, we killed the Jeff Varner interview. Jeff Varner, thank you so much for being on here. Huge shout out to him. 3-time Survivor contestant. Absolutely wonderful. This has been your Might Be Sports Survivor special. Make sure you check out an all-new Might Be Brews on Friday on the Might Be News Network exclusively. mbnnetwork.com. You can go there. It's never been easier to find your new favorite podcast. Click the thing at the top. Find the show that you want. And find the platform that you want to listen to it on. It's that easy. Do it now. I'm Taylor Cooper. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out, guys.